This is a pre-trip video on 857. It's a little different than your normal cab over. All your fluids are inside the cab. So if you come around to this side, this is how you would top off your coolant. It says engine coolant right there. Then the tank is directly under it where you can see max and min. But you just lift this up, pull it open, and there's your cap. Just make sure you put this back into place. On your passenger side, you'll find your oil and transmission. I kind of already put this up because it was a little harder to do it during the video. But when the seat is down, you'll see these latches under here. There's one here and another one down there. You just pick up on these latches and lift the seat up. Your oil dipstick is that yellow ring right there, and that cap right next to it is how you fill it. This thing takes Dexos 530. If you look with a flashlight right into there, you'll see your serpentine belt. You're looking for anything worn or damaged or hanging off the pulley, anything of that sorts. So we'll check the oil, and hopefully this thing stays up. So when you're checking the oil, always make sure your engine is off and cold and hasn't been running yet. So this is a great first thing to do before you even start. So you just pull up this yellow ring, wipe it off, stick it back in the hole. Like so. Stick it back in until it's flush. Pull it back out. And here is your oil level. It's at a good level. You want that to be in between those three punctures, or anywhere in that hash is a good spot. Sometimes it'll argue with you to go back and just be nice to it. Now if you come around to the back, you're going to find transmission oil. That would be in this little flap. You undo these buttons. Like so. This whole thing unbuttons. You don't gotta go crazy with it. Then on the side, there's a little latch. Undo that latch, it opens right up. And right there is your transmission dipstick. This you check while the vehicle is on and running. You may not be able to hear me very well, so I'm going to check it now while it's cold. And I'll show you where it's supposed to be at. So you lift up this latch right here, and then you can just pull it out. Once again, you check this while the vehicle is on and running, and it has been for a little while. So all the fluid goes in the injectors, and you'll get a better estimate. But it's the same thing. You pull it out, wipe it off, push it back in until it's flush. Move this out of the way. And you should be able to read hot and cold. I've recently had this running, so it will be in the hot section. It's actually a little bit over. I think that's okay. I'm not totally sure. But that's where you want it to be after it's been running for a while. You want it to be in that hot section. Once again, make sure you wipe it off completely before you put it back in. That's to avoid any debris getting back into the engine or transmission. Okay. Then just to button it back up, you redo this latch. Like so. And then you just go ahead and button it back up. I'll do that after the video. What is... Oh, that's just easy access to some wires. But right above your head is your washer fluid tank. Make sure that's topped off. And your triangles are right there on the passenger side of your back seat. Same thing with first aid kit and jack. Since we're right here at the battery, make sure all your terminals are tight and make sure your battery cover is on. For your tires, make sure you have enough tread. You should be able to stick your finger in there and it comes halfway up your fingertip. Check your lug nuts, make sure those are tight. Take a look behind the wheel, make sure you don't see anything in the way. And check your suspension components. Make sure your leaf springs are good. Make sure your actual shock is okay. You'll see oil dripping down the bottom half if it's not. And look directly behind your tire on the bottom for any oil that's dripping down. If you do, that means that your axle seals have gone bad. Check out your rotors. Make sure those don't look like a wavy chip. Your brake fluid is located on the other side of the truck, right on the driver's side of the cab. This little thing right here, you just pull that off and you can see your brake fluid level. Just make sure that goes back on so you don't lose it. Alrighty, so I'll show you a set of the duals. This is going to be both are the same on both sides. Here's a second fire extinguisher. Once again, there's that yellow needle I was talking about being in the green. Same thing, except you have two tires. Check your treads, make sure you can stick your finger in there and it comes halfway up your fingertip. Check your lug nuts, make sure those are tight. Look in between your duals. You're looking for any rocks or anything that could be lodged inside. Check out your leaf springs, make sure you don't see any cracks or damage or anything like that. And then once again, look behind the tire to see if you have any axle seal leaks. Okay. You come inside, you should find your driver's log. It's usually in the cab, somewhere near the driver's seat. So under the hood is good. Fuel tank, we'll do that when we go out to check lights. Mud flaps, I forgot about mud flaps. We'll do those also when we check lights. And the rest of those are good. So since we're sitting here, we're gonna check our seatbelt. Give that a quick click. Tug on it, make sure it works. Your keys should not be left in the truck like this or in the cab because we like to lock keys in the truck. They're usually tucked in the job box that's located on the back of the truck. I don't think this one has a job box. I think it just has cages. So just, I don't know, just make sure you don't lock your keys in the truck. While we're in here, I'm gonna turn the accessory on and we're gonna go through lights. Check your horn, make sure that works. Right here is your light switches. Here's your parking lights and your low beams. Pushing it away turns your high beams on, and pulling it towards you turns them off. Here's your blower and defrost settings. Make sure those work. Your beacon switch is right here on your console. Give that a flip, because we're going to check those too. And here is your 4 ways. While you're in here, take a good look at all your glass, basically your mirrors, your windows. Make sure you don't see any cracks, chips, or damage, or anything missing. Then we're going to check our parking brake since we're in here. This part you do with the vehicle running. So to check your parking brake, you're going to pull this lever up until you see that brake light come on. Then you're going to put your foot on the normal brake, like so. Then you're going to put it into gear. And then you're going to slowly let your foot off the brake. If the truck doesn't move, that means your parking brake works. Okay? So we're going to get out and check some lights so I don't annoy everybody with the beeping. Here's a marker light on the bed. There's a marker light on the back side. You've got markers all across the back, your reverse lights, your brake lights. There's another marker on the back side. Another marker up here on the bed. You've got 2 beacons up there. You have a marker right there on the door. Here's your low beams and 4-way, low beams and 4-way, and another marker on the door. To disengage your parking brake, set your foot on the brake, the normal brake, put your truck back into park. You can let your foot off the brake now, and then push this button in, pull up till you hear it click, and set it back down. So we've checked a majority of our lights, so we're gonna turn some off. We're gonna turn on our high beams now, and we'll do our turn signals, just left and right. So again, turn signal works. Your high beams also turn on the side, the lights on the side door. So that high beam is on, that high beam is on, and that one's not on yet. You're gonna do the same thing for the back. Check your turn signal. Perfect. Come up here, flip it to the other side. So again, that high beam went out. And then this light is on now, and so is that turn signal. So I'm assuming that those come on with the turn signals. And we got a turn signal. So perfect, we checked all of our lights. Hooray. We're good. Your license plate light. Okay, so your mud flaps. Make sure your mud flaps don't dangle on the ground or drag on the ground, and make sure they're not way too up high up towards the bed. Those prevent rocks from flying up. This is a gasoline truck. Make sure you're putting gas in your truck. Make sure your gas cap is on and tethered and tight. And your license plate light should be on the back, right here. So if you see it's kind of glowing against my hand, that tells me my license plate light is working. Make sure that's lit. Okay, back to our list. So we went through all of our lights. We checked our windshield wipers, horns. Check your gauges. When you turn your vehicle on, just make sure your gauges appear to be working normally. Heater, defrost, parking brake, we're good on all that. And we covered the seatbelt, loose items, all that stuff. Under the hood, we checked all of our fluids. Around the vehicle, we walked around and made sure everything was secure and in its place. Open and close your doors. Make sure they open and close and latch properly. This truck, its weight is located to your left, kind of above your head. It's in a weird spot. Your GVWR, gross vehicle weight rating, is 14.5, which is right up there. So that is where you'd put your weight, and your height is located right in front of you on the dash at 9'5". So a normal driver's license would be just fine for this truck. You shouldn't need a CDL. Make sure you have your med card on you and your proper PPE, hard hat, glasses, safe, long pants, boots, socks, long sleeve shirt, etc. Your toolbox will be located in the vehicle somewhere. Make sure you get a good night's sleep, and your brakes are already adjusted, so you don't gotta do any of that stuff. You just had to check it off. Okay, have a good day.